if let's hypothetically say Georgia beats Alabama, that leaves Cincinnati, who probably aren't going to lose. They bump up to 3. So you have an Ohio State versus Cincinnati college football semifinal game. And then the next team out, because you can't put a 2-loss Alabama in there. A 2-loss Alabama does not deserve to be in the college football playoffs, and it's most likely they will not be in the college football playoffs with 2 losses. So the next team up, in a rebuilding year, a year where media and critics counted them out and said, this is going to be a tough year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's going to be a step back. Yeah, Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will most likely, if they beat Stanford and this scenario, which is the most likely scenario, happens, they will be in the college football playoffs. That is berserkers to me. In a rebuilding year, in a year where we said, do we even have, because I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, do they have a good quarterback? The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, do they have a competent quarterback? They lost their all-time win leader at the quarterback position, yet they can still make the college football playoffs. If that doesn't say something about Brian Kelly, I don't know what does. And people hate on Brian Kelly for not winning in the big game. However, nowadays, if you look at the recruiting, how tough it is to recruit for the University of Notre Dame, how tough it is, the academic standards to get there. It is one of the toughest places to recruit, and he still does great at recruiting. He still does great, but he's not like Alabama. It's not like Georgia. He does not play in the SEC. The SEC does play a huge factor in getting those, really great kids from the South in as well. So he's done a phenomenal job just all around. And I don't care if the Notre Dame Fighting Irish go there and lose to Georgia, because quite frankly, I feel as though almost every team in the country will lose to Georgia. And if they do, well, that's the biggest upset to me, one of the biggest upsets in college football history if they beat Georgia, and if they play in the semifinals. But the Notre Dame Fighting Irish deserve a lot of credit. They deserve a lot of credit for what they built this year. And no matter what happens in the upcoming weeks with the rankings, if they beat Stanford, they deserve a lot more credit from everybody around, because everybody likes to hate on Notre Dame. Notre Dame's everybody's favorite team to hate on. And it's a fact. It's a fact. Everyone loves to hate on Notre Dame. They love to trash talk about Notre Dame. But you cannot deny the fact that what Brian Kelly has built in South Bend is very impressive. He took over a Notre Dame Fighting Irish team that was one of the worst Notre Dame teams of all time. The program was at its lowest point, and he's brought him back to the highest point in college football, and that's the playoffs. And in a day and age where it's never been harder to win, it's never been harder to win a national championship. It's never been harder. With now, you have Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, these 3 powerhouses of recruiting, these 3 powerhouses of college football. It's never been tougher. And Clemson, can't forget Clemson. And despite all of this, Notre Dame has still stayed up there with the big boys. They have competed, they fought. And let's not forget, everybody bashed on Notre Dame last year after they lost to Alabama in the college football semifinals. So get this. Nobody came closer point-wise to Alabama last year than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 17 points. That was the closest any team came point-wise to Alabama last year, the Crimson Tide. Nobody came within 17 points except the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And it's facts that the media won't want to tell you, because people like to hate on Notre Dame, and the media gets money out of hating on Notre Dame. They don't want to tell you what I just said. But I'll say it because I'm a factual guy. I speak how it is. I say it how it is. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish deserve a lot of credit. And if you're Brian Kelly right now and you're watching this, I just want to say bravo to you.